What?
Hurricane Erin, now a Category 2 storm, is passing by Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware as the work week closes out. Although it won't likely make landfall, the storm is causing dangerous conditions along coastal areas. The greatest impacts from the hurricane will be along the beaches with dangerous surf, rip currents, beach erosion, and coastal flooding, according to 7 News First Alert meteorologist Brian Van de Graaff. If you have any beach plans in the next couple of days, that rip current and high surf is going to be pretty intense, and they are saying you have to stay out of the water even after the storm passes until things start to calm down, he said. There's rough surf and rip currents in Ocean City, according to an update from the city's Department of Emergency Management Thursday morning. Ocean City's Emergency Services Director Joe Theobald wrote in a statement, "Due to strong waves and dangerous rip currents, we are prohibiting swimming and surfing in the ocean. That is until further notice." Ocean City Mayor Richard Meehan told WTOP's and Kramer that the ocean looks angry and they're expecting high tides. "People are adhering to our requests and they are staying out of the water. It's pretty obvious when you look at it that's not where you want to be," he said.
Here it comes.
Meehan said until the storms pass, it's not safe to go in the water. He also said to expect some moderate flooding on downtown main streets. "We expect to see some water roll up to the seawall, possibly, but not breach the seawall. So we don't really anticipate any damage or water breaching the oceanfront, just some erosion along the dune line," Meehan said. Maryland's Eastern Shore beaches are currently under a coastal flood warning from the National Weather Service until 11 a.m. Thursday morning. But a high surf advisory and coastal flood warning will be in effect stretching into Friday. Maryland Governor Wes Moore said in a statement that they do not expect significant impacts, but to remain vigilant as coastal flooding is expected to peak Friday.
Look at it pushing in.
In Virginia, the Eastern Shore and Virginia Beach area are under a tropical storm warning, with forecast winds of up to 30 miles per hour and gusts up to 45 miles per hour. Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin said during a press briefing, "This is a dangerous storm, and because of the size of the storm, even though it is offshore, we will see rain bands that will bring heavy rain."
This car is not going to be...
He also said state and local teams are ready to respond to flooding and other storm impacts.
It is up. This is the water.
"Make sure you have a plan and do not drive through heavy water," Youngkin said. "Your car is not a submarine. Turn around. Do not drown at the end of the day." Meteorologist Mark Pena told Sierra Wells that there is no threat of landfall in the metropolitan D.C. area. "We'll be on the western side of the system, so that's going to bring in the northeasterly and northerly winds over the next couple of days. So that'll keep temperatures and humidity down," he said. As Hurricane Erin sends waves up and down the East Coast, serving up a total feast for otherwise starved surfers, certain areas in Delaware and Maryland have blocked beach access and prohibited surfing for the last 2 days. A trusted source tipped off surfer with the following information. Local officials in Ocean City, Maryland, state and federal officials at Assateague Island, and several Delaware beach towns have issued a ban on surfing this week, even before the first swells from Hurricane Erin reached the mid-Atlantic coastline. Ocean City, Maryland Beach Patrol announced the surfing restrictions on Tuesday, which was 2 days before any massive wind and wave conditions were forecast to arrive. Local surfers were upset with the ban, as they are usually permitted in the water even when swimmers are not. "As East Coast surfers, we wait all year to surf tropical swells," said local resident and business owner Will Hall. "It's outrageous that Ocean City has chosen to ban surfing. I understand that tourists shouldn't be swimming in these conditions, but this is what surfers live for." New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy declared a state of emergency Thursday as Hurricane Erin brings high surf and dangerous rip currents to beaches along the East Coast.
I'm good, dude.
Officials said parts of New Jersey will experience sustained winds of up to 50 miles per hour. Waves on the Jersey shore may be as high as 17 feet, and flood-prone areas may see up to 3 feet of water. Over the past couple of days, we have seen the effects of Hurricane Erin along the Jersey shore in the form of dangerous riptides. Today and tomorrow will be no exception, Murphy said. As the storm moves past New Jersey over the next 24 hours, we are expecting high surf and rip currents, coastal and flash flooding, and a high erosion risk in parts of the state. We ask all New Jerseyans to monitor local weather forecasts and warnings and stay informed on evacuation protocols, especially if you're down the shore. The state of emergency took effect at 2 p.m. Thursday. A coastal flood warning is also in effect for the Jersey Shore and high surf advisory for New York's south-facing beaches. Many beaches remain closed to swimming, and officials urge people to avoid the water. While Hurricane Erin is forecast to stay hundreds of miles offshore, the East Coast is still feeling its indirect impacts. Towns along the Jersey Shore have been preparing for the storm, telling people to move their cars to higher ground before the water levels rise. Residents have also been asked to secure their outdoor furniture and check on their boats, docks and slips to make sure they are tied up tight. In Seabright, which sits between the Atlantic Ocean and two rivers, residents say their hopeful rock barriers along the ocean and metal bulkheads placed along the Shrewsbury River after Superstorm Sandy will help keep them safe. At Manasquan Inlet Beach, massive waves crashed against the rocks. The winds from Hurricane Erin were also kicking up the sand, and beachgoers could feel it hitting them in the face. At the Riverside Cafe in the inlet, owner Michael Parziale moved his vehicles to higher ground as a precaution. The cafe went through Superstorm Sandy. We witnessed so many nor'easters and hurricanes. We always watch the tidal phases for the moon, and it's going to be a new moon, so we know it's going to get increased, Parziale said. Some beaches along the shore saw winds up to 45 miles per hour, toppling over lifeguard posts in Seaside Park. Thunderous waves crashed along a barrier in Wildwood, causing the street to flood. A lot of people came to the beach to watch the power of Mother Nature in the churning ocean. The wind is very strong. We're like both falling over, and the sand is like hitting us, Savannah Gill said. It's kind of crazy. It's very choppy, very thick looking and spooky. It's been rough for the past couple weeks, but now it's just twice as bad, Marcia Dorina said. Earlier this week, Murphy told beachgoers, "Don't go in the water." Thursday, Erin threw a wrench in the plans of some folks on vacation down the shore. "We were here for a lot of fishing and a lot of outdoor activities, but we are making the best of it. We are going to go play some mini golf right now," Connecticut resident Dan Ruin said. "We usually like the big waves in Vermont, seeing the big ripples in the ponds. It's exciting to see some big waves, but unfortunately we can't go in them," Vermont resident Jackson Ruin said. The same was true for onlookers in Southampton on Long Island. "It's indescribable, really," Daryl Harris said. "We don't want our beaches to be taken from us, but this is a very beautiful sight to see," Maria Harris said. Erin has also prompted New York officials to shut down beaches in New York City and some on Long Island. New York City beaches will remain closed to swimming Friday. Long Island officials discussed their emergency preparedness for the hurricane season in a rare joint appearance. The two gave a unified message about the importance of hurricane preparedness as they ready for beach erosion and possible flooding. In Nassau County, nuisance flooding may take place in areas like Long Beach and Freeport. In Suffolk, Fire Island and Montauk are being closely watched. Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman and Suffolk County Executive Ed Romaine said, "With Erin being the first hurricane of the season, it's important that all Long Islanders have a plan.
Like an apocalypse.
Just in case, if you live along the shore or in a low-lying area, please make sure that you have water. Have a plan to leave. God forbid we should have to make that determination. Have a place to go. Keep non-perishable food and manual can openers available. In case there's a power outage, make sure you have flashlights and batteries. Do not use candles," Blakeman said. "We're prepared for this hurricane as best we can. It's not going to do a lot of damage, but it will create erosion. It will create flooding," Romaine said. The island was expecting even bigger waves, up to 16 feet in some areas, and water levels could be 2 to 2.5 feet above normal. Towns like Southampton and Quogue declared states of emergency. Crews have been using truckloads of sand to reinforce dunes, fearing the heavy surf will erode beaches and damage shoreline properties. Dune erosion is already impacting the East End. "We are concerned about erosion, and that is our main concern with high tides tonight and tomorrow morning," New York State Parks Regional Director George Gorman said. The declaration of a state of emergency allows the town to be able to take special actions if needed to protect public safety, Ryan Murphy of Southampton Town Emergency Management said. "We have to secure the vessels, keep them safe at the dock, extra lines, monitoring," said commercial fishing boat Captain John Berglund. Wind gusts up to 30 to 40 miles per hour along the coast could also bring down trees or power lines, especially with the ground saturated from recent rain. Neither county is declaring a state of emergency or any kind of evacuations, but it's Mother Nature, so things could change. Village and town beaches will assess when reopening is safe. Concerned about the riptides and safety of the people swimming in the ocean, Quogue Village Beach lifeguard manager Ryan Fay said. "The restaurants along main streets in towns across Long Island are teeming with tourists, but restaurants along beach roads are closed." Hurricane Erin pounded the North Carolina coast with strong waves and gusty winds as it slowly moved out to sea Thursday. It was still considered dangerous for beachgoers along the U.S. East Coast. Erin lost some strength Tuesday and dropped to a Category 2 hurricane as it moved northward, roughly parallel to the East Coast. However, its maximum sustained winds were around 100 miles per hour, 160 kilometers per hour, on Thursday. Erin could become a major hurricane again before finally weakening by Friday, the National Hurricane Center in Miami said. The hurricane was about 260 miles, 420 kilometers, east of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, late Thursday morning and was moving north-northeast at 18 miles per hour, 29 kilometers per hour. Although the Weather Center was confident Erin would not make direct landfall in the United States, authorities warned that water conditions along the East Coast remain dangerous. Officials on a few islands along North Carolina's Outer Banks issued evacuation orders. The orders come at the height of tourist season on the thin stretch of low-lying barrier islands that juts far into the Atlantic Ocean. By Wednesday evening, officials had closed Highway 12 on Hatteras Island as the surge increased and waves rose. Ocracoke Island's connection to its ferry terminal was cut off. In the Caribbean, Heavy rainfall earlier struck parts of the southeast Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands, the Weather Center said. Erin poses the biggest threat to the barrier islands of North Carolina's Outer Banks. Governor Josh Stein declared a state of emergency Tuesday in advance of the storm. The storm brought dangerous waves and rip currents to the state. There was a sustained wind of 45 miles per hour, 72 kilometers per hour, and a gust of 54 miles per hour, 87 kilometers per hour, measured at Jeanette's Pier in Nags Head, North Carolina, the Weather Center said. The state had mobilized 200 National Guard troops along the coast, as well as 3 swift water rescue teams as part of its preparations. At least 75 people were rescued from rip currents through Tuesday in Wrightsville Beach, near Wilmington, North Carolina, officials said. 2 houses are sitting precariously amid the high waves in Rodanthe, where at least 11 other houses have toppled into the surf over the past 5 years. Ocean waves take away sand that is packed around the wooden pilings that keep the homes above water. Warnings about rip currents have been posted from Bermuda and Florida all the way up to the New England coast. Nantucket is the closest spot in New England to Erin's anticipated path and was likely to see the strongest winds, gusting about 25 to 35 miles per hour, 40 to 55 kilometers per hour, at peak with waves potentially reaching a height of 10 to 13 feet, 3 to 4 meters. Citing treacherous waters, officials prohibited swimming at all beaches in New York City, as well as some in Long Island and New Jersey through Thursday. Bermuda won't feel the full intensity of the storm until Thursday evening, and the island services will remain open in the meantime, Acting Minister of National Security Josh Adams said. Storm surge could reach up to 24 feet, 7.3 meters, by Thursday, Adams said. Already this year, there have been at least 27 people killed from rip currents in U.S. waters, according to the National Weather Service. About 100 people drown from rip currents along U.S. beaches each year, according to the United States Life-Saving Association. And more than 80% of beach rescues annually involve rip currents.
It's the earth. Hold on. Look at this
Storm
shit.
surge is the level at which seawater rises above its normal level. Much like the way a storm's sustained winds do not include the potential for even stronger gusts, storm surge doesn't include the wave height above the mean water level. Surge is also the amount above what the normal tide is at a time, so a 15-foot storm surge at high tide can be far more devastating than the same surge at low tide.
And remember, we have not hit high tide
A year
yet.
ago, Hurricane Ernesto stayed hundreds of miles, kilometers,
So this is
offshore from the eastern seaboard, yet still produced high surf and swells that caused coastal damage.
Tomorrow will be beautiful.
Erin's strength has fluctuated significantly over the past week.
We're supposed to flood again tomorrow.
The most common way to measure a hurricane's strength is the Saffir-Simpson scale that assigns a category from 1 to 5 based on a storm's sustained wind speed at its center, with 5 being the strongest. Erin reached a dangerous Category 5 status late last week with 160 miles per hour, 260 kilometers per hour, sustained winds before weakening.